good day, everyone. How are you now? Been a while since I did a video. I'm actually out and about right now doing some shopping, heading over to Almont to finish up my mother's groceries and mine. And weather's starting to warm up. I'm driving the new pickup truck. I've gotten really comfortable with it. Really liking it. Even for a V8, it's amazing on gas, man. I can't believe this. It's getting over 20 miles to the gallon, which for me, after all the trucks I've owned, that's pretty fucking good. And to me, that's still not even broken in. We just rolled over 1,000 kilometers now. So, you know, but yeah, I'm finding the gas mileage is going up the longer I drive it. So, anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about this thing with the crashes and the shoot downs. But I'm going to talk specifically about Canada because it seems our American friends and maybe some friends from the city, and then of course the citidiots, which are not friends, and people from around the world. You're wondering why it's taking so long over for the Yukon. Well, the Yukon, in case you don't know, is one of the wildest provinces in Canada, territory, whatever, and one of the wildest places on Earth. Imagine the Amazon rain jungle, except now it's our kind of trees, mountains, snow in the winter, snow in the summer in the mountains, horrible temperatures in the winter. The weather can change on a dime. The winds there can be hurricane force in the winter and go up as high as minus 70 and minus 80 on the wind chill. For the average idiot there, 10 minutes you're dead in the wintertime. It's not a place for people to be in summer. If you don't know the bush, there's places like the Nahanni Valley. You don't even go in there without a gun and a rifle and a satellite phone because it's just too dangerous. And that's in the summer. Now, where I understand this thing dropped was in the middle of the territory, which is First Nations lands. And that's very rural, like, you know, it's not going to be easy if they're even able to get to it this time of year. Now, the Canadian forces can probably send over some Comanche helicopters, but even they're restricted. If they get up in those mountains, if they think that's where it is, and the winds start going up, those helicopters are going home. It's a really harsh environment. Okay, it's not quite 100% Arctic where, you know, there's no trees and all snow, okay, but it's very close. And I've been telling people, go type in the Yukon in YouTube and then go look for yourself, because for some reason people just don't seem to get it. And not sure what's going on here. Nobody wants to pass this guy. Got to line up halfway up the road here because this guy up ahead won't get off the middle of the road. See if he turns, otherwise I'm just going to cut the back way. Okay, so anyway, the Yukon is just not a place in the wintertime that you just start booting around. To the people that are wondering why people aren't sticking cell phones in the air in Yukon and taking pictures. Well, number one, in the areas they are, a lot of those people don't have cell phones, don't have internet, don't have cell service, okay? A lot of people are low on money in that area, okay? Then it's First Nations. And, you know, they're on their own thing, and they're very poor because our government treats them like shit. Okay, don't listen to what Trudeau says on the radio or on TV. We treat our First Nations brothers and sisters like shit. Anyways, so, like I said yesterday in one of the Twitter things, yeah, that's me, UFO, UAP, UFO, no, it's UFO UAP First Contact on Twitter, and then on this channel. And then I'm Lad from the Woods, which is like my main name. Anyway, you know, they're too busy surviving, keeping the wood stove full, putting food on the table. You can't just jump in a truck and go to the store. A lot of these places are simply just fly-in. So it's not like these guys can take some pictures, suddenly throw it up on the internet, unless they have Starlink. And I don't even know if they have Starlink, because Elon Musk was supposed to have it for us here in Canada, but they're so far behind. I think they think they've gone forwards, because I've been waiting for 2 years now. I mean, it's far more rural and wild in Yukon than it is where I am here in the bush in northeastern Ontario. I'm able to get to a town within, a half hour, a village within 10 minutes. But up there, that's not how it works. And this is a reason why a lot of people do fly-in fishing, fly-in hunting there, because, it's very rural. Not everybody can get up there. And so that's what it is. So for the Army, our Canadian military is the best trained on the entire planet, okay? For winter stuff, everything stuff, but winter stuff especially, we excel in that. And even they are going to have a hard time getting that stuff out of there. And, the RCMP, we only have one office in all of Yukon, so they're going to be involved. But I don't know what their situation is there, whether they have equipment, how much manpower they have. I suspect it's not all that big. So, and it's probably located in Whitehorse, which is a fair distance away from where this thing might have crash landed. So our best bet is to let the First Nations boys look around while they're looking around. But if anybody is going to have a good chance to find it, it's going to be those folks. So we'll see what happens. But the rest of you have got to understand, this Yukon is not like, a lot of North Americans and Americans think it's all populated and it's full of cities. It's not. Okay? Whitehorse is the biggest town, and that's it. Then the rest are all tiny. And I mean, they're villages, corner towns, places, general stores. So like when you travel an hour and a half to get groceries, at least you can get to a general store and stuff. So I urge patience on the Yukon thing. They may not find it. The snow is so deep in there, if it crash landed and went into like a big valley and a great big crevice or something, it's gone. Okay? Even in the summer, that's going to be a hard deal there. A really hard deal. If it crashed in the Nahanni Valley, which is a big nature reserve, look it up, Nahanni Valley, and you'll soon find out what the Yukon is all about. If it crashed in there, that creates a lot of other problems. And so, before you guys spot off on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, do your homework on Yukon. Now, where they shot down the video, where they shot the craft down near Tobermory is here in Eastern Ontario, Western Ontario, Southwestern Ontario. It's right on the Georgian Bay Lake Huron border, very close to the American border, and it's very rural. In the summertime is when it's busy, and even then not so. The entire Bruce Peninsula is First Nations, tourist campgrounds, things of that nature. And so this time of year, again, people aren't standing around with cell phones taking pictures in the air. Now, I don't know if the water on Lake Huron right there is frozen. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. It depends on which way the winds have been blowing all winter. You get stacked up ice. And I'm trying to find my milk place here. Dandelion Foods. There it is. Because they didn't have my grass-fed milk at Independent Grocer, which is a surprise. She said we've been getting short-changed on organic stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you can see that. Something's not quite copacetic. So, anyway, hopefully they have some here. I'm going to be crying if they don't. I'll drink that regular shit. I don't mind when it's pure filter, but I think that's far enough. Oh, God, no, I got a lot further. Okay, I'm going to be back. Okay, guys? Bye. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, they didn't have my milk. I was able to get a couple of glass bottled milk. So from them, they got the 3.8. But yeah, my Rolling Meadow milk is nowhere to be found. So I went on their website to see if there was another place that carries it here in Almont, and Independent Grocer does, but they had nothing on the shelf either. So now the Metro grocery delivery thing says that they have it, so I think I'm just gonna order up 4 of the cartons from them and get them to deliver it or whatever. So I guess maybe everybody else is discovering that milk. All right, so we were talking about Tobermory when I last was talking there. to do with the UFO crashes, whatever. And now do realize it's 3:15 in the afternoon on a Monday, and I haven't seen a TV now for the past couple hours, and I got another 45 minutes before I get to my place. I gotta still drop groceries off to my mother. So anyway, Tobermory is at the tip of Bruce Peninsula, which is kind of like, I'm going to try, think of Florida if it was turned upside down and brought up here. That's what Bruce Peninsula is like, but not near the size of Florida, okay? And it's very rural, lots of little backwoods, swampy muskeg lakes. There's some good lakes there. One shoreline is on Georgian Bay, which is pretty much occupied by First Nations, the Lion's Head First Nation. And the other side, again, is First Nations. I think about halfway up, and then the other half is campgrounds and stuff. And that's along the Lake Huron coastline, which is right next to Sabo Beach, which is one of our most popular beaches in Canada. And, of course, it's freshwater on Lake Huron. So anyways, that area is in the wintertime, nobody's running around pointing phones at the sky. Probably half of them there don't even know if they haven't been watching the news. You Americans are far more obsessed with the news than we Canadians are. We're more obsessed with weather. But, you know, when you're out in like me, okay, I'm set up. I got a TV, I've got fast internet, all that stuff, and that's stuff that's only, come in the last few years. I don't have satellite or cable or anything like that. I strictly have wireless internet from Storm Internet, and that's how I watch my TV and do my videos and shit. So, and I'm an hour from the capital. What is this guy fucking doing? Oh. Unbelievable the way people drive. Truly is. This one pulls right out in front of me. This is why I hate going in anywhere near a town. Almont's about 35 minutes from the west end of the city of Ottawa, which is our capital. But you see, I'm an hour and change west of Ottawa, and I live in like bush. And so people don't seem to understand that even in Ontario, like you go anything north of Timmins, and that's like, anything drop down in the woods up there, good luck finding it there this time of year. So anyway, Tobermory, if it's close to the peninsula, it's beautiful diving water. It's known as a diving area in the summer. There's all kinds of wrecks and things underneath it. If it's further north and further west, then there's like an underground waterfalls underneath, because that used to be above the water before, I think, an asteroid hit there about 10,000 years ago, because the First Nations people talk about a big beaver slapping its tail, and that's what made Georgian Bay. So, you turn that into English. Essentially, Georgian Bay must have been one separate lake at one time. Whatever this asteroid did, it took that stretch of land and it went underwater. I'm assuming the lakes got deeper, and that's how it happened. But there's actually a National Geographic video you can actually go see with a diver, the underground waterfalls between Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. Okay? So does that give you an idea of what we're talking about up there? Now, as I was saying earlier, ice situation coming onto Lake Huron there or Georgian Bay. Depends if it's been windy coming in from the northwest, steady coming in. It pushes the pack ice in towards shore, and it's virtually, it's like you're not traveling over that, okay, unless you're flying. We know this from ice fishing up there. Same with the Big Bay. There's on the one side, there's the Big Bay at Wyerton. It's called Colploy Bay, and it goes out. Then at the end, once you're out of the bay, you're back into Big Georgian Bay. And so the ice can get pushed all in there. Now, if the winds have been pretty steady out of the southwest or south, it pushes, the ice out. Now, if it freezes, it's okay. But if it doesn't freeze properly, which I don't think it has, because it's been warmer than usual in this part of Canada, and as usual there, they get snow squalls every day. Like, it's not unusual to get a foot of snow every day there. So I'm thinking the ice conditions, it's either open water there now, or the ice conditions are absolutely horrendous. I wouldn't go near them. That's a big lake, and big lake ice, you got to be real careful. So anyway, so that's Tobermory. My mother's best friend and her husband used to own a place, an outfitter shop right there in Tobermory. So I know the area very well, and of course I go there every August for 10 days up to Sable Beach, camping and fishing on Georgian Bay. And I travel all around the Bruce Peninsula because I know lots of people up there, including my First Nations friends that told me about the beaver story. Anyways, so that's what you're dealing with, folks. And, I don't know if there's going to be a next one or not, but, Quebec is no different. You get around Montreal and on the other side of Ottawa, Gatineau, okay, but you leave Gatineau, which is just on the other side of the Ottawa River, okay, in Ontario. Well, on the other side, Jesus, some big phone lines down or something. What the hell happened? 15 minutes outside of Gatineau going northwest, and you're in heavy-duty bush up there. And anything, let's say, north of Quebec City and north of Montreal, let's say 2 hours out of Montreal, not even, pure 100% Yukon-like bush. Not the mountains, but scrub bush, huge, forested areas. And again, if it falls in there, unless it falls somewhere near where somebody lives or there's a First Nations, you're going to have a hard case finding it. But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Nothing's collapsed in Quebec yet. Crashed in Quebec yet. But, the Yukon, if it dropped in Alberta in the north out there, it would have been just as bad. BC, the northern interior, same thing. These are not places that you just go waltzing around, at the best of times, let alone in the wintertime. And like I said before, it's not a place, if you're a city person and you go to a provincial park and you call that camping, you don't want to be where these places are. You're not up to the task. I'm telling you that now as someone that grew up in the bush all my life. You will die out there. And we see it every year. Some idiot dies. Goes out there, thinks he can handle grizzly bears. There's nothing as scary as having 1,000-pound snarling, screaming, whatever, grizzly coming at you at 35 miles an hour. I'm telling you now, you've never experienced it. I have twice. Don't want to ever do it again. I wouldn't go anywhere near a bush where there's grizzlies. We don't have them here in Ontario. Grizzly or brown bear, whatever, we don't have them. We have black bears. They're easier to deal with. Not easy, but much easier. But, I go nowhere out west without a rifle and a handgun. Not a handgun to protect myself against people. What it is that if you're sitting there on the side of the road, and let's say you're sitting somewhere, you got your camp set up, you got a little fire going, okay? And all of a sudden, grizzly comes up on you, you didn't catch him. Well, the time it takes to pick up that rifle and pump up rounds, by the time he's charging you and making all the noise, it's too late. So you have the handgun, bear spray, which, but the handgun, like if you're in the Honey Valley, you're going to want something that can take down a grizzly bear. That's the only time I approve of handguns, is for people out here in the bush, for us. And then, of course, a 30-06 or a Winchester 30-30, whatever, 12 gauge. But, I won't go out there without that. And now in the wintertime, of course, there's lots of other lovely animals in there in the winter that still, that don't hibernate. So there's cougars up there. And, unless they're starved or something, they won't come near anybody. They're very shy. But, okay? For you Americans and you people from around the world, that's Yukon and Yukon Territories, Canada, and Tobermory, Ontario, Canada. The two places where these two latest crash are. These are not easy places. Okay? And that's all I got to say about that, I guess. So, I don't really have an opinion on these crash things because we've been lied to so often. I don't trust anything that's being said. That Natasha Bertrand that's on CNN, that's the defense expert, she's a tool and a hack for the CIA. And so I trust nothing she says. And you can go see videos of what she's done before on Glenn Greenwald's channel, several other people. This woman is not to be trusted. She's saying what the CIA has told her to say. And you will never get anything out there. She's a Stepford wife, no brain, no thinking on her own. For all I know, she might be an android. So, but that's a fact. And I already put up a link on Glenn Greenwald's Rumble video on my Twitter, and you go in the first 30 minutes and then go in and listen to what that creature does. So, yeah, she's not our friend, UFO folks. So I don't have an opinion what they are. I'm not sure. I do trust our Canadian Defense Minister. Unlike our Prime Minister, she's very competent. She's a good person. She's extremely well educated. As Canadian can be. She's Indian Canadian, not First Nations, but India, Hindu Canadian, and just a very, very nice woman. I think she should be Prime Minister. I think that we should turf this idiot out. She'd be a liberal, which I don't think they'll get back in after this Trudeau thing. And but anyway, I trust her to a certain degree regarding this UFO thing. Okay, but she's got people over and above her, and of course, because of the idiot Trudeau, we jump every time the Americans fart, instead of thinking on our own like his father used to do. So our defense minister is at the mercy of whoever's in charge down there, I guess the Secretary of Defense, who on his Twitter up until 3 o'clock this morning hasn't spoke once about this situation, about the crashes on his Twitter. But he has been on there complimenting another general, an admiral, whatever. So I find that very interesting that he's completely ignoring this situation. Now, of course, he's put one of his lackeys to talk, but, you know, our defense minister has stuff up on her Twitter, and she interacts with us, actually. So, anyway, so she's under the thumb, so I don't know how much we're going to get out of her. I reached out to the Aboriginal Network and said that, you know, if there's a way to get message out to these guys and girls, my brothers and sisters on the First Nations in Yukon, you know, see if we can get them to go look for it before these guys find it, you know. And I mean, not touch or anything, but get some eyes on it. And if you do own a cell phone with a camera or a camera, then, you know, take some pictures out of it, and the first time you get to internet, upload it. That's the only way we're going to get around it being hidden. I did send her a tweet last night, our defense minister, and I asked her that if it does turn out to be extraterrestrial in origin, will you tell the people the truth? Of course, I haven't gotten an answer. And I did mail one tweeted one to the Secretary of Defense, who, like I said, hasn't done anything on Twitter about this current situation. And yeah, that's the only two people I twittered on that. I'm probably going to Twitter Tim Burchett because he does pay attention. He's a Republican. I'm not. I'm not a Democrat either. But old Tim Burchett's got that good old boy Southern Tennessee common sense to him. And no, I don't always agree with him. That's a fact. But he's not a stupid man. And he's, like I said, he's one of the only people that has... you know, that has taken the UFO and Congress thing and seriously and has been on their tails about it, along with that guy Rubio and Gillibrand, who is a Democrat. Senator Jillian Gillibrand? No. Well, Senator Gillibrand. Anyway, she's been a big ally with the UFO thing. So, you know, we got a couple of people that are on our side. But, like I said, who knows who's got the thumb on these people. All right, well, I'll stop this video now. I think that's all I got to say about what it's like up here for you people that don't know. My basic feeling on the crashes, I'm not going to say either way. I simply do not know. I do not have enough information. I lean to the government lying to us. But there's a lot of things that I keep thinking to myself. So anyway, maybe I'll do another video on that, about my strict thoughts on why they might be extraterrestrial or why they may not be. Okay, probably stuff that everybody else has already covered, but why not do it myself? So too, I seem to have picked up a lot of followers on Twitter recently. Well, I guess Eon is fixing the shadow bands and the algorithms to let regular folk have a chance. Jesus, nice Yamaha side-by-side of my neighbor's. We don't get along with that guy, so he's an idiot. But he's got a nice fucking side-by-side. Anyway, well, he's not really my neighbor. I live about 10 minutes from him here, so. Out here, it's kind of like a neighbor. And yeah, you know, everything's 30 minutes to go somewhere. So, yeah. Okay. So listen, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming, everyone. If you would please like, share, and subscribe, that would be really cool, because it helps the channel build. I have a Patreon too, where I put stuff I can't put up on YouTube. That's patreon.com/ladfromthewoods. And I put, for one price, you get all five YouTube channels of material going in there that I don't put up on YouTube, like pictures, you know, writings and stuff like that. I also do a column on occasion on Substack, which is Substack. Oh shit. I'll put it in the description when I upload this. But yeah, I do a Substack, and that's not behind the paywall. So, but the Patreon is, and it just helps me, you know, with the cost of a cell phone every month, the internet, all of it. So, okay, everyone, be good, be cool, be safe, and we'll see you right soon. And maybe sooner if I get home and find out something else crashed. It's 3:33, so I'll be at home in about 10 to 4 by the time I'm all said and done unloading. Okay.